Due to some agenda constraints, Mr. Bogdan Aurescu is unable to attend the entire panel, so I am inviting His Excellency to address the audience as a guest speaker from here or to the desk where you feel suitable. Okay, please, Minister.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and thank you so much for bringing me together with such distinguished panelists. I'm really honored to be present here today together with you. And I think this very important topic that you are discussing today, and we are discussing today within this panel about the eastern flank and about NATO's future relationship with Russia, is a very topical subject. There have been almost 9 months since the illegal aggression of Russia against Ukraine, and indeed February 24th marks the beginning of a war, launched not only against Ukraine, but also against our values, against our principles, including those underpinning the Euro-Atlantic security architecture. This war has violated international law, including the UN Charter and the principles of our rules-based international order. The last evening's incident in Poland at the border with Ukraine shows how difficult and sensitive the security situation prompted by the war against Ukraine is. We are in close contact with our Polish strategic partner and ally. It is important that all circumstances of the incident be clarified as soon as possible. At this very moment, as we speak, the North Atlantic Council is meeting. The ambassadors of all NATO countries are discussing about the circumstances of this incident. As already stated by the Romanian President, Mr. Klaus Iohannis, Romania stands in full solidarity with Poland, and we express our condolences for the 2 victims of the last evening's explosion. There is no room, of course, for speculations. We need to be crystal clear about the circumstances of the incident. We have taken also notes of the statements by President Biden and President Duda. But the fact that this is happening, and it happens, shows that it is extremely inadmissible the manner Russia is targeting the civilian infrastructure in Ukraine, thus trying to diminish the societal resilience and at the same time the will of Ukraine to continue to fight against the aggression. But I am confident, and I think everybody here in this room should be confident, that Ukraine will continue to fight in a very effective manner. While we assess Russia's aggression as a threat to our way of life and to our values, we cannot affirm that it was quite unexpected. As Narcis just mentioned, we have been discussing about the possibility of escalation for quite some time. And we have been drawing the attention of our partners, of our allies, about the continuous escalation of the security situation in the region. A long and complicated relationship stands between the countries on the NATO's eastern flank and Russia. Our history with Russia is quite long and marked, for the most part, by Moscow's desire to impose its sphere of influence at our expense. Moscow's conduct since 2008, starting with the invasion of Georgia and culminating with the illegal aggression against Russia, has confirmed, unfortunately, this behavior. However, the reaction of the international community to Russia's war on Ukraine has been outstanding. The Euro-Atlantic community acted as one, in full unity, in full solidarity for defending democracy by all means available to make our societies more resilient. The decisions adopted during the extraordinary NATO summit in March, but also later on in Madrid, are a consistent part of the alliance response to Russia's behavior. And first, they voice out our objectives, as NATO's consolidated defense and deterrence posture on the eastern flank has been constantly advocated by Romania already since the 2014 crisis. This enhanced allied presence, while being per se a deterrent factor, contributes to strengthening security at our borders and to instilling confidence to our public opinion and to our partners and allies as well. Our NATO membership the solid US and allied presence on our territory, reinforce the most solid security guarantees we benefited from in our entire history. Second, the decisions adopted in the NATO summit this year in Madrid concern the support made available to our partners as well. If we look around us, we see that the Black Sea region has been the area with the countries most affected by the effects of Russia's aggressive pursuit of interests. The Republic of Moldova, Georgia, and Ukraine have experienced this directly. People are suffering as a result, as we see now in Ukraine. What we should do to preserve peace and security in the Black Sea region? First, we need to develop long-term policies of support for the Republic of Moldova, for Ukraine, and for Georgia. It is expected that Ukraine will get a lot of help for reconstruction, but a truly strategic approach for the region would require a multifaceted support for the Republic of Moldova and Georgia as well. Our support for these countries should include at least three key areas: defense, resilience, and economy, with the aim to ensure that these countries become self-sustainable, resistant to hybrid challenges, and able to protect their sovereignty and territorial integrity. Should they remain in a state of perpetual vulnerability, they will be a temptation for their more powerful neighbor to keep them at least in a state of dependence. Therefore, we need to take a long-term determined effort to help these countries become truly capable of freely choosing their future. Such an approach will contribute to a more secure and stable Black Sea region, which will contribute at its turn to security and stability in the Euro-Atlantic area as a whole. Second, I would like to highlight here that the United States is also working on a national strategy focused on the Black Sea region. There is also a draft under discussion within the US Congress. This is an approach encouraged by Romania and firmly embedded in our bilateral agenda. When I met Secretary Blinken last year in Washington, I also handed to him our contribution to this démarche. And we are in the process now to adapt this approach in the context of the war. This strategy should add more substance to our strategic partnership and to the transatlantic relationship, which is essential in managing the challenges and threats arising around us. Third, after almost 30 years of trying to engage with Russia as a partner, the alliance redefined the approach towards the security of the Euro-Atlantic area in the medium and long term by adopting the new strategic concept. It states clearly that the Russian Federation is the most significant and direct threat to allies' security and to peace and stability in the Euro-Atlantic area, because it seeks to establish spheres of influence and direct control through coercion, subversion, aggression, and annexation. This is a quotation from the new strategic concept. In the years to come, this will be the new paradigm to translate Russia's behavior in the international arena. As you all know, I will host on behalf of Romania for the first time a NATO foreign ministers meeting in Bucharest later this month. This event will be a key moment in driving the implementation of the substantial and visionary decisions adopted at the two NATO summits this year, with a focus on further strengthening our deterrence and defense posture in the Black Sea region. The foreign ministers meeting in Bucharest will also offer an opportunity to reflect on our future approach towards Russia, including on the long term. I'm looking forward to substantive and meaningful discussions and decisions for Romania, but also for the other allies, decisions that will further pave the way to strengthening NATO defense and deterrence posture on the eastern flank. To conclude, I would like to underline that never before was such a consistent allied presence in the region and on the entire eastern flank, with structures, forces, and capabilities. And in the context of the unprecedented threat posed by Russia and the profound changes in the security environment, NATO allies have once again proven their unity and solidarity, which furthermore demonstrates that NATO remains the most successful political military alliance in history. Looking ahead, we need to continue to strengthen NATO as a foundation of our collective defense and to promote an approach based on unity and solidarity so that we can overcome all these challenges. Thank you, and hope you enjoy a fruitful and insightful discussion.